Hey everybody, Haku here, and today it is the second part of my top 15 rankers explained, talking about the top 15 rankers in Tower of God that were given to us via blog posts and things like that. I think there may have been sort of a data book type thing that he did that SIU gave to us, just compiling the information we know so far on those 15. And today's going to be a bit of a different one because I'm only going to be talking about two characters. And these two characters have enough detail that we know about them that I thought it was appropriate to just put these two in their own video, because it's probably going to take me a full video's length to get through all of the information. First up is Ranker 10, Ha Yurine, who is the head of the Ha family and has the sobriquet Snakehead. Ha Yurine is the great-grandmother of Princess Ha Yuri Zahard, who is a character, of course, we know a ton about, has played a role throughout the story, and she, even though she's her great-grandmother, she doesn't look much older than Yuri, and they're said to look pretty similar, so I think it's going to be very interesting if and when we finally see Ha Yurine. Also, Ha Yurine had two children, and they were fathered by Ari Han, the head of the Ari family. Ha Yurine is the first scout ever in the tower, and she sort of fought with a brash and rough, yet still smart. It's defined as sort of rough but still smart way of fighting, and she had a very powerful physique. They said that she was the first to ever use Shinsu body strengthening even. But even then, on the battlefield, it is said that she was graceful and flexible in her fighting, and she hasn't fought at all since becoming a family head. Number 9 in the top 15 rankers is Baek Ryun, and Baek Ryun is the ruler of the 77th floor and one of the founding members and the head of Walhaeksong, or the Wing Tree organization. He does not have a sobriquet because, though he was offered one, becoming a high ranker, of course being ranked 9th, he declined it. Also, Baek Ryun is the best friend of Uruk Mazano. Now, I'm going to get into his story, and his story is a bit long and detailed, and we haven't got it in the actual plot of the manhwa yet, but I really liked it. I really hope we do get elaboration on this story. So I'm going to start out giving the information. So Baek Ryun was an orphan, and as an orphan he wandered into a forest and he grew up there in that forest. They say that Baek Ryun's forest is sort of a living being itself, that it emits a certain energy and it feels as if it's its own entity. After a while, he was chosen to become a regular, he climbed the tower and became a ranker, and then he returned to his forest in the middle area. Now, Uruk Mazano, who we all know is one of the most powerful figures in the tower, at least in combat, while he was still climbing the tower, he heard of Baek Ryun's forest and went on a journey to visit it as he was climbing. So he visited the forest and told Ryun a bunch of stories about outside of the tower, which made Ryun start dreaming of what the world outside the tower might have been like. So then finally, when Uruk Mazano was a ranker, he became a ranker, he came back to the forest and asked Ryun to work with him to leave the tower, but Ryun said that though he would love to and though he dreams of it, he could never leave his forest behind. The story goes that then Uruk Mazano said, "Then I'll give this forest a pair of wings. I'll make it so that this forest can follow you wherever you go." Mazano compressed the forest into the size of a fist and then placed it within a box that had wings. And Ryun, the forest was too heavy for Ryun to carry, so he gave it to Uruk to take care of, and that became their sign of friendship between the two of them. Now, at some point in its history, the forest was moved to the 77th floor, and that's where Ryun remained. So that's where it currently is, and I'm assuming they can compress it and move it if they want. And soon, rankers from all over the tower started hearing the stories of Uruk and Bayek Ryun, who are two of the 10 strongest in the tower. And hearing those stories, all the rankers that felt compelled by their stories started coming to that forest and joined together as a group under Bayek Ryun and Uruk, and they called themselves the Walhike Song, or the Wing Tree Undermoon, or just shortened to Wing Tree. As for Ryun's appearance himself, they say that most of the time he looks like an ordinary boy, but occasionally he looks like a tall man. And there are even stories and rumors of him being so tall that he can touch the ceiling of the tower. Now, I think that when we finally see him, he's going to be kind of short and young looking, kind of like Mule Love, only probably cooler than that. And I think that the whole tall enough to touch the ceiling and seeing him as a tall young man might just end up being sort of a joke, maybe something that Uruk made up to make fun of him. And I think that would be funny and cool if they did it that way, and I honestly think that that's how it's going to play out. They say that Bayek Ryun is the strongest wave controller in the history of the tower. In recorded history, he's the strongest wave controller. But he uses Shinsu like manipulation in a supportive manner rather than an attacking manner. And they say his personality is gentle and silk-like, so I would again love to see the character, because I just see him as sort of a sage type character in his forest, the Walhike Song joined under him. He sounds like one of the most, like Malik 1 PGR and a lot of the other characters we haven't seen yet. He seems so interesting. Just, it really makes you look forward to the far future in Tower of God when we do get into these characters. Also, it is said that Bayek Ryun is very talented in hand-to-hand fighting, but because he hasn't had very many fights with high rankers that have been recorded, his actual combat ability is a bit unknown. So I do think it's interesting to note that it's a bit unknown, and yet he's ranked 9th, and he's very influential, and he's known as the strongest wave controller in history. And the very last thing to say about him is that Bayek Ryun learned Shinsu naturally, they say. He learned it naturally in his forest as a child, so that means that he must have either learned how to do it without a contract, which would make him a bit irregular in a way, or he was born, even though he was an orphan lost in the forest and he doesn't know it, he was born into one of the great families or another family that are naturally born with contracts. So it's interesting to note that he learned it without making a contract, so that adds another layer of interesting into the character. So that's it for number 9 and 10, or number 10 and 9 in the countdown of the top 15 rankers, and I'm not sure how I'm going to divide up the remaining 7, maybe 3 in the next video, and then it depends on how much we know about each of the characters. Characters we know a lot about, of course, I'm going to have to make a video like this, where even though it was only 2 of them, I still used up all of the time it takes to normally make a video. So I hope you guys loved it. I really hope you guys did enjoy, though. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe for at least 3 videos regarding Tower of God, The Walking Dead, and One Piece, and hopefully an anime review every week. Things like that. Lots to subscribe for, so do it if you want to. Comment down there your thoughts on the 2 rankers that I talked about, your thoughts on what I said about them, I guess. I mean, I guess it's information. It's not, most of it wasn't really opinion. So yeah, just put your thoughts down there in the comments, start a conversation, and whatever if you want. Man, I'm butchering this so badly. Follow on Twitter if you want updates on what's going on with the channel, or if I have to alert you guys to anything, like I may be pushing a video back or anything like that. So yeah, I would say follow on Twitter for things like that. Thank you all so very much for watching. I truly enjoy making these videos. I will see you all next time.